Welcome to the news. A lot going on in the world today. We're going to discuss it. And let's wait for people to roll in. We're going to have a smudge break while I wait. Hope you do too. We'll be discussing Russia, China, America, the big Hey, Beef. Good to see you. Hey, April. Oh, nice. Yeah, Elena. Hope you enjoy your ride. All right. Healed up well. Yeah. She's riding. She must be. Yeah. Good to hear. Come on. As usual. Yep, she's all healed up. G. Couple of things I wanted to look up here. Oh, terrible. Hold on, let me change that around. A few things were true. The motorcycle vibe might help healer. Maybe. Okay. Maybe that one. Oil by country. And crude oil production by country. Let's go to that site. I'll share this tab instead. Global crude oil production by country. The reason I'm looking at crude oil is because of Trump and the petrodollar. And Venezuela and Canada both have apparently some of the best supplies of the heavy crude. So now they've taken Venezuela. And crude oil is apparently very important in a lot of fuel production. I don't know if that's entirely true, but it's used. I heard that it was used in the production of all fuels, but I'm not sure on that one. I think you can do it without it. One thing that crude oil, at least the heavy crude, um, does is it fuels our shipping. They use heavy crude in shipping, so if Trump gets hold of the crude oil production in the world, at least the major part of it, um, they can control a lot of the shipping. So here's production worldwide, but that's not indicative of what is actually out there. So we've got Saudi Arabia down there saying they're producing crude. Germany, or sorry, Russia. Venezuela produces quite a bit. The U.S. obviously 21 million barrels. And here's Canada capped at around 5,000. We have a lot more. So yeah, it's not controlled globally with the crude, but it is a good portion of it. Hi, F. Kitty. Good to see you. Zoom in here. So let's see. I wanted to find the top here. Crude oil deposits. That's what I really should be checking. Okay. There we go. Alrighty. That's a pretty good map of oil reserves. There we go. Yeah, this one will do. This is a much better representation. So here we are. Okay, so we have Arabia over here with a lot of crude, and Venezuela, massive amount. Let's see. Maps of countries with proven oil reserves in millions of barrels. So at the top there, Venezuela and Arabia. Just below that is Canada. And below that is Russia. And over here in, it looks like Libya, I think. So yeah, the most production is going to be in these two, most barrels. And you get to Canada. So that's a good portion of the world's reserves of crude oil. It didn't give me crude oil, did it? Check for a different map here. I want to know. I got to know. Let's see. Proven oil reserves. I specifically want to drill in on, pun intended, the crude oil because of shipping implications. Because if you can shut down crude, there we go, crude oil reserves. Let's go with reserves and see what it gives me. It still gives me the same map. Shale, oil and gas. I suppose that is about the best one. Is that map we're showing right now. That's what I can find on the fly here. Yeah, happy 2026, everybody. Yeah, so that really does put Canada straight in the crosshairs of the US and the petrodollar. We, we might become a 51st state quicker than you think. US doing just in time fulfillment, which means pre manufactured. Yes, exactly. Yeah, point out, Kitty. Yeah, if you could cut the shipping in half just on a whim, that's power. That'll shut down, that could cause starvation, economic disasters worldwide. Hi, Nina. Good to see you. Processing some dreams. Cool. So if Trump could get hold of North America, Greenland, and chunks of South America, especially like Venezuela, he's going to have a great time with power. That gives him a lot of power. And they've got to fight BRICS um, with something. Otherwise, BRICS will pretty much take over. Although, I don't know that they can stop BRICS, but at least they can be a competitor. It's cold in right now in the U.S. Lots of death, undesirable. They created those undesirables. They would be desirables without the interaction with the government, I think. People can be rehabilitated, I believe. Seems there's a plan to subdue the damn commies. Well, not in America, really, but worldwide, yeah. I suppose they still consider Russians communist. We got to beat the Russian commies, the Asian commies. They are. Russia's kind of communist, although they pretend, or at least seem to have elections. It's warm on the West Coast. Bears are still out. Oh, that's he's been freaking you out. Same tone of voice. Well, he's an actor. He's got a practice voice, you know. But yeah, I'm not one to go on about Trump, but wow, I think he's all right. We'll see you, Nina. Yeah, you don't think of him as undesirables, but theme amongst the elites, since directors, yeah. Uh, yeah, we've got a lot of homeless people up here. It's happening worldwide, unfortunately. Even in China, they've got homeless people that have been shut out of the system. It's a brave new world there and our possible future. Although I have to give Trump some kudos. He's apparently pulled out of the UN and that type of organization, which you know gives him more power again. Really, Trump's a dictator. He might, Nina. Hi, Jeremiah. He looks like he's working diligently at it. But I can point out some good things he's done. Backing out of the UN, That weakens the UN and makes a war with Russia less likely. He unbanned incandescent bulbs. Most people don't think is a really big thing, but it is because they use these LED lights like in your screens and the street lights and all that for communication with your body, uh, human body communication. You really don't want that. And what else did he do? Oh yeah, yeah. Apparently he's fighting the what do you call them? Those management companies like BlackRock and all that that are buying up homes. Apparently he's going to stop them from buying uh, homes up and renting them out or letting them sit so that they can drive up the market, which what they have been doing a lot. Yeah, the new food guidelines. Yep, yep, that's uh, that's true. Yeah, why settle for Baron, right? What about King Baron? You know, yeah, there are some good things coming of the Trump administration. Even though there is a technocracy coming, and that's worldwide, and there is no slowdown to that, really, um, from most countries. Trump actually seems to be kind of slowing it down a little bit. Even I know, even though he invested $600 million in AI infrastructure, and and power production for it. Each of those he spent 600 million, I believe. You just released a video talking about this today. Oh, excellent. Well, hurry back there, Nina. Now I can't think of. Well, hold on. Now he's. What else has he done? Let's be fair here. Let's be fair to the dictator. Now, a dictator doesn't have to be a bad thing. You can have good rulers and bad rulers. Apparently, the King of Spain was a revered man, and everybody loved him. It's one of the few, but yeah. And even that could be all spin, right? That could be the news we get. You know, you get this side of the story about this king, and there you go. But you know, I wonder if it's like politics today. Half the country hated him, half the country liked him. You know, but yeah, these oil reserves are a major key. Even though most countries are pushing for, well, in the EU and NATO and all that, they're pushing for the climate change stuff. Although that's starting to feign and wane away. Did you see what's happening in France? I think I did. Did you see what's happening in the UK? Let's check out France for a minute. And we'll go back to Trump and his. Let's look at some protests. Iran rights groups warns of mass killing of protesters. France-Iran protests. Here we go. Is that the post? Let's see. Let's go somewhere else. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see who we've got here. Business Today. Let's share this. I might not even look at any of these videos. So what does this say? France protests explain debt crisis, austerity. Okay. Public anger. Block everything. Get that out of the way. Block everything. Protest sweep France. Intensifying pressure on Macron. Visualize world's major religions, 1945 to 1920. To 2019, sorry. Oh, interesting. Islam, Hinduism. From block everything to burn everything, while Macron's government keeps collapsing. It's by the Mint. France's death of democracy, protest strikes, and President Macron's pension reform explained. Okay. So it looks like they're headed into austerity, which means that they're going to jip out the people while they're paying for illegal migrants. Very interesting. Now there was UK protests as well. Hotels. Protests against hotel asylum seekers take place across UK and France. Let's watch a little bit of this. Hopefully it's on mute.
The UK is seeing a wave of protests hotels to house asylum seekers. Fights broke out in Liverpool Saturday between members of the anti-immigration UK independence movement and anti-racist counter-demonstrators. The anti-immigration protesters have been galvanized by a court ruling this week that blocked the UK government from using a hotel outside London to house asylum seekers. The government says it plans to appeal. The housing issue has become the flashpoint of a broader public debate over how to manage illegal immigration. We can hear now from demonstrators on both sides.
Well, at first I wasn't really too bothered about the refugees, but at the moment I can see that a lot of refugees are coming over. Because I'm scared that our is going. We're being in, there's 100,000
tasty ribs
by small boats. They're being placed in houses next door on my street. Yeah, on my street they're coming.
No ice raids, no war for oil. See, I'm down for the ice raids. I like the ice raids. I think we should have that in Canada. Our own version of it. We'll get into that later.
What's actually going on? The reality is it's not about a few people coming over in rubber dinghies. That is not a threat to our society.
Don't upload your videos to YouTube.
Fall off the bone, nice.
We will live stream it to YouTube and all your platforms at once.
Tensions explode. And that's 4 months ago. 2 days ago, Britain on the brink. Looting, a riot, civil war. Keir Starmer failed to get a grip on asylum seekers. Surge as protests in UK break out. Look at them there. That's apparently that's an offense there, carrying that those flags. You can be arrested for that apparently in the UK. Hey Karen, good to see you. Hi Catch Many. The CCP? You sure it's not the British government? CCP, I could see, yeah. They want to cause as much trouble everywhere as they can. I'd have to check that, though. 1 second here. It's the hand behind the nation that's moving pieces. Yeah. Sorry, my wife distracted me there. See what else is going on. They haven't talked about Myanmar recently. So there's in Asia. I'm getting the Canadian version, so I might not get Myanmar. Oh yeah, you have to. 4 years ago. 4 years ago. They're not telling us much about Myanmar at the moment. That's interesting. Because they had an overthrow of the government recently. I guess that's been kind of hidden. All right, have a great day off the hook. Well, that's a plan for May the 1st by the left. They have a plan to stop working. They have a stop work action coming this year. They're going to do a practice run. And then I believe in 4 years, they're going to do their, hopefully, well, for them, hopefully their main one. In some respects, no, they don't care what we do. In some respects, they do. It just depends on what it is, you know? Because we do have the power to overthrow them. Most people don't think we do. I guess the protests go back to Nixon, through back to the NAM days. I don't know. Have to get a historian up here. I haven't studied that area of the world. It's real history. So we got enough exciting stuff going on, eh? We the ants, yeah. We are many, though. Yeah, enjoy those ribs. Yeah, public opinion turned to the point where we were sick of what's going on. And the majority of us decided we needed change. And apparently, it doesn't even take that. It only takes, 7% of the population. The rest of these sheep will just follow along. They realize, oh, that's a good idea. Let's do that. It's kind of funny. But and changes don't really come from the inside; they come from the outside. So if change is going to happen, it's going to be somebody who isn't in the system. We got a lot of hackers out there. We got a lot of people doing actually good stuff. So, you can count on that there are good people out there. There are people that are working on plans that could help us. We can't really, it's not something you want to really discuss openly because then they know about it, right? So, yeah, Nixon was a freak. Was freaked out back then, yeah. So let's look at the ice raid. I wanted to discuss that one. The lady that got shot. They don't want to talk about the other one. There was 2 other people shot recently by ICE, but they were trying to ram ICE with their car, and they were Trende Aragua, and that doesn't fit their narrative. You know, I was watching a video the other day, and they were pointing out all the people and women that have been stabbed, shot, killed, raped, murdered by migrants, but yet there's no midnight vigil for them. There's no worldwide outrage. You know, why is there no outrage or for them? For that lady that got stabbed on the train in the neck and died. Where's her vigil? Where's the left now? You know, they're not there, right? They're not there for anybody that doesn't do them good politically. You know, you're going to use this woman and her wife. She's apparently made $1 million so far, over $1 million, on a GoFundMe. So she's doing fine. Nice. Ice shooting. Okay, let's see what they have for ice shooting. There we go. This lady. Yeah, this. Let's see what kind of biased news we get. This is always fun. I love watching the news.
With the very latest on what's happening there. Garrett, good afternoon.
Yeah, Trace, good afternoon. This new video will be a crucial piece of evidence in this investigation because it was recorded by the agent himself, and it shows the events leading up to the shooting from his point of view. Here is that entire video.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you. Show your face. I'm not mad at you. It's okay. We don't change our fates every morning.
I imagine
Just so
everybody.
you know, it'll be the same fate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I got some lunch, big boy. Okay.
Out of the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the car. Whoa!
Vice President J.D. Vance reacted to this new video on X, saying, many of you have been told this law enforcement officer wasn't hit by a car, wasn't being harassed, and murdered an innocent woman. The reality is that his life was endangered and he fired in self-defense. No response to the new video from city officials, but earlier today, Mayor Jacob Fry doubled down on his belief that this was a reckless abuse of power and that any argument that this agent feared for his life are BS.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page.
Well, that's not. But anyway, we've all seen the video. We've all seen the different viewpoints. So what happened there, right? Well, what happened is ICE went out to do their job. They went to a, let me pull one up for you here. Here we go. So they use things like this, an ICE activity tracker, so that they can follow around law enforcement and get in their way and obstruct what they're doing. Right? So what they did is they got a bunch of people and followed ICE and tried to block them with their car. They were using their car to block ICE. Okay, so we can start that off. And then what happened? ICE tried to detain her, and her girlfriend there, during the attempt at detaining her, told her to go, go, go. So she went, and that police officer went pew, pew, pew. So everybody here, everybody in the news and all that, and on the left and on the right, they are looking to blame somebody, right? They want to blame ICE, or they want to blame the girl, or, they want to blame the girlfriend. But really, if you look at the whole situation, there is enough blame to pass around for everyone. You've got the protesters that are kind of committing a crime. They're impeding officers from doing their duties. So that puts the girlfriend at blame, or the lady that got shot. She shouldn't have been there. Then you have the girlfriend that told her to go, go, go. I'm sure she feels horrible about doing that. But she incited her girlfriend to hit on the gas, right? And then that resulted in the officer being on the windshield of that car, of that vehicle. Now, that resulted in him shooting. Was he right to shoot? I can't say. He was right to shoot once. I'm sure he had his right to do that. But did he have the right to shoot another 2 times? I don't think so. So really, pretty much everybody involved in the situation is at fault. At least the down to those actually involved in it. So I can't pick a side in this one, because I think they're all at fault. I think the officer overreacted. Now, he was hit by another car previously, and he was dragged 300 feet. So does he have a little bit of PTSD about a car coming at him? Maybe, probably. The lady didn't seem too angry or upset. She was mocking and joking the police or the officers before she hit on the gas. They were taunting them, trying to get them upset. So, yeah, Gandhi. Gandhi did not practice peace protest by tackling and sacking soldiers and cops. No. Or running their cars into them, or trying to taunt the officers out of their precinct to shoot them. These are not peaceful practices. So, are you going to get ICE to overreact? Maybe. You probably can. And I think this man probably did overreact. So, yeah, I would say everybody was at fault here. And most of them unknowingly. The girlfriend that said go, 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 I don't think she knew that. She certainly didn't think that her partner would be shot. I don't know if she thought that there was an officer in front of the car. I bet she didn't, or I don't think she would have thought that there would have been anything harmful done. These people do think that they're there peacefully protesting. Maybe. And that officer, Yeah, it's a very sad situation. It's all unfortunate all around, And there are 4 children involved in that too. That's horrible. But initially she shouldn't have been there. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what to do about this. You know, all those people that are following cops around, are they committing an offense? In Canada, I'd be thrown in jail for it. I don't know about the US. Policing restrictions, giving them more protection by threatening them is only going to allow more powers to force. Yeah, where, they've told people, where was it, in Florida, if you're being surrounded by protesters and you feel that your life is in danger, you have the right to hit the gas and go, And we think of like Rodney King. He was dragged out of his vehicle and killed way back. That was huge, you know. Where's the outrage for all the other people, all the other events that have happened? Where's the vigil for Ashley Babbitt? You know, where's the vigil for that lady Slenka? I can't remember her name, Slenka, that got stabbed on the train. You know, right now we have a situation where everything's politicized. Courts, the media. You have to be able to look through it and past it, and remember your, you know, propaganda training. What is propaganda? Well, when they're trying to elicit an emotional response from you, you can pretty much guarantee it's propaganda. So if they're not telling you all the facts or giving you all the video, it's probably propaganda. If they're clipping things together and giving you opinion, it's probably propaganda. But they have managed to get everybody really riled up about this. It's an offshoot of Homeland Security and TSA. Yeah. Yeah, it's law enforcement is unfortunately an important thing. It does get out of hand. That's true. And in recent years, the application of the law has gotten out of hand. But that doesn't mean, at least in my view, that we shouldn't have laws. I think we could have more natural laws, but then you get into exploitation because natural laws can be exploited. Almost any law really can be exploited. All you need is somebody with enough nefarious intent. Any institution can be infiltrated. Notice immigration is not the one stepping in to speak for them. Yeah. So yeah, the whole ICE thing is, I don't know what you guys can do about that. Are these people going to continue to put themselves in danger? I loved the U.S. For their contradictions. No Kings rally, right? You guys had the No Kings rally. And then you said, free Maduro, free the dictator. Is that the next new thing? I guess we're for dictators now, right? Even in Canada, we had a No Kings rally, which is freaking hilarious. Our prime minister swears allegiance to the king or queen of England. So I tell you, we live in topsy-turvy times. No Kings rallies held in Toronto against Trump because he's a king. He could be a dictator, who knows? But then they protest for Maduro. No kings We hate dictators. Everybody is a Nazi, but we love this dictator. It feels good to be heroing, but I prefer heroing. But I prefer spending the coin of my life, making a difference, not just feeling like I am. Yeah. We shouldn't have let all these violent, prone foreigners in at all. That is correct. Yes. They're not asylum seekers. If they were asylum seekers, asylum law works like this: you seek asylum into the country next to you, and that's it. Are we next to Somalia? Are we next to Afghanistan? Are we next to any of these countries that these people are coming from? We are not. You guys, you guys are next to Canada and Mexico. That's the only places you should ever take refugees from. That's how the refugee law works. So, yeah, these people from Africa, they really shouldn't be here. Acting like heroes instead of actually being ones, cosplay. Yeah, immigration is a problem in Canada too. We have, show you who we have here. This is who we have. We have the, in Canada, the Khalistani movement. It's a movement out of India to have their own country. They want to separate from India. Here's their symbol: two swords around. I don't know, probably another weapon. I'm not sure what the middle thing is. Let's see if that'll come up. But up here, this is the predominant worker at the moment. Let's see. Let's go to maps. Let's see where they're. Oh, they're showing a. Let's go back. Let's go to images. There we go. Khalistani maps. So they've got a lot of territory there. Let's check it out. Khalistan. Let's see, that's a pretty good one. Oh. That's a pretty bad one. Resolution's terrible. There we go. That's a good one. It's got, doesn't have much resolution, but it's very easy to see. So there's Khalistan in the kind of yellowy orange, Pakistan, and Hindustan, India. So they want to restore these lands to themselves. Yeah, the CCP in Canada is big beef, Rena. Um, the idea says to me that they're controlled by their lower drives and demons. A king has self-control and control over his subjects. Those protesters took money to fight for their own enslavement. Yeah, they did. Um, a lot of these people are paid, unfortunately, and they take the money as outlined by their holy leaders. Yeah. The NPCs, yeah, the others are peasants of the most ignorant type, bystanders, NPCs, etc. Yep, go along to get along. Yeah, the whole king's thing. Yeah, and they use that. They use that in Canada to put people in a state of fear of Donald Trump, so that they could win an election. It's all just to get votes. You know, we're going to go against Trump. So that was the idea. Give me 1 second. However, if there are a lever waiting to be used, they take the money or they get the stick. Yeah. And the next in line gets the money. Yeah. There always seems to be enough useful idiots out there, you know, willing to sell out just for money. A lot of money is being passed around. I want to get back to this Khalistani movement. We've got actually one of their temples or whatever. I don't know what it's called. Just down the road from me. And yeah, they're Sikhs, so they're not Hindus. So, you know, they don't have the same outlook on things, the same temperament as Hindus. It's a totally different ideology and way of living, and based on religion. Mm. A vicious cycle. Do they beat them with a set stick? Yeah. Well, they can beat them down economically. They can beat them down with the law. There's lots of tools. Check something out here. Let's see where we're. Live now at Minneapolis. Let's see what kind of propaganda we've been given. Turn that up.
Ruth Schubert and Lindsay Skirdo. Sorry, if you're not crying. All right, before we call the next person,
Yeah, they're very good.
I just want 30 seconds of absolute silence.
Yeah, and each other. Related to royalty and each other. hope Nina gets back.
Thank you. All right. Let's keep everything going. Let's keep this momentum going. Look at how many of you are still
keep it
filling
going.
in.
Come on, guys.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. This was days. This wasn't weeks of preparation.
This is our political
Nobody
thing.
knew what was.
So
All
come
just
on.
came out. You all showed up. You
Everyone,
are the
fight for the current
movement.
thing.
You are all 50-51. You're here to show your voices and let the government know we are not here to stand for ICE. ICE off our streets. 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 Thank you, everyone. We are the many and they are the few. Very well said. We are. All right. From the Colorado Rapid Response Network, can I please have Mel? Put your hands together for Mel.
So my colleague sitting by was sleeping
Unfortunately, ICE has refused and the law on their side. Hey, fools and tools.
Hello, I'm a little nervous. Sorry.
You can love it, right?
My name is Mel. I'm a member of the community, just
crowd
like you guys. Nobody's special.
movement,
I'm a
big
veteran.
movement.
I did 1 year in
How
Iraq,
many other
Baghdad.
people are paid to be there? You'll be able to
08
know
to
when
09.
they clear out, right? That's
I'm
what
also
usually happens.
a member of Corn, Co-Sarper, and About Face Veterans.
To go and protest. I don't know which protest it was in Canada. And it was $200 a day, right? But you can tell the protesters, like at the where was it? The Tesla dealership there, when they were protesting there, all the protesters went away at 1 o'clock because that was quitting time. So they were only paid to be there till 1 o'clock, which is a pretty good gig, right? You only go for about 3 hours or 4 hours, and you get paid $200. It's a really good gig, So I could see people getting very dependent on that and kind of wishing that there were more protests because, especially there was a lot of retired people that were doing it in Canada. So, because the retirement benefits aren't that great. So, making a couple $100 protesting, that's fantastic. And I wonder if they've gone through, all of the records and found people that are, unemployed or, retired and said, those are our targets, which would be illegal. You shouldn't have access to those things. But they could have done that, right? I don't know why my wife got called for it. That's kind of odd, Must be Earth version of royalty, the interstellar versions, those that work overtime for their people with integrity. Well, that would be nice, yeah. How do we get paid? Apparently there are advertisements. I haven't seen them. Let's see. There are companies that you can go and employ yourself with. I do know that. Let's see, what was it? Crowd. I can't remember the name. There's many companies out there. Let's see if we can get anything. There it is. Crowds on Demand is a public firm that provides clients with hired actors to pose as fans, paparazzi, security guard, unpaid protesters, and more. Crowds on Demand, here's their website, Crowds on Demand. And there are other ones that are available. But you can, I think it was up to 5,000. Let's take a look. I think you can hire up to like 5,000 people on this site. Let's check here. We create out-of-the-box campaigns, audiences, and events to make an impact for our clients. Let's see, are you looking to create a buzz anywhere in the United States? At Crowds on Demand, we provide our clients with impactful advocacy campaigns and events. We are best known for organizing passionate demonstrations, rallies, flash mobs, corporate PR events, and lighthearted events such as paparazzi, brand ambassadors, and PR stunts. We also have virtual capabilities, including letter writing, social proof, and phone banking campaigns. We can create turnkey advocacy groups, compete with qualified, passionate leaders to staff them all on a relatively short notice. These services are available across the country in every major city and every major U.S. metro area, and even most smaller cities as well. We do campaigns abroad, coordinating with international partners as needed. We provide everything, including people, the materials, and even the ideas. You can come to us with a specific plan of action, and we can make it happen. Or you can approach us with the general idea, and we can help you plan the strategy and execute it. We've made campaigns involving hundreds of people come alive in just days. We have a proven record of delivering major wins on even the toughest campaigns and delivering phenomenal experiences with even the most logistically challenging events. Let's see. We organize protest rallies and advocacies. Let's do that. Let's read that one. Whether your organization is lobbying to gain approval of a project, move forward a legislative initiative, bring additional pressure with complex litigation, or trying to see swift and effective action in another way, we can set up protest rallies, demonstrations, alternatives to litigation or business disputes, coordinate phone banking initiatives, and create nonprofit organizations to advance your agenda. So very, very helpful people. Hey, Charles, good to see you. Yep, so pretty much you can guarantee that these types of companies are involved in most things going on. And they're nice and easy to find. So all you need is the millions of dollars it takes to get them to do it. So where were we there? Oh, probably, yeah. Students would be a great source of temporary workers, right? Just take a sick day, go and make a couple $100. Oh, there's a hawk flying by my window. Pretty. He's on the hunt. Uh-oh. Some birdie's going to end his life. Yeah, recruitment. Pretty easy to do. If you can get a hold of the unemployment records, old age records, you can pretty much get enough people to go. You know, they have thousands of people signed up and ready. See, I don't even know, like, you know, is this ice tracker, is that even legal to have? Like, isn't that in itself impeding law enforcement? Like, isn't that kind of a crime in itself? Just having a website that tracks officers? I even think that should be illegal. You shouldn't really be doing that. You know, now if you're on the lam from law enforcement, I could see how you might think that that's a really good idea if you're a criminal. But for the average person, I don't know. Like, if they were serious about protecting ICE agents and people, right, wouldn't they want to really stop these people from getting together in this way? But they don't. I don't understand how, you know. Yeah, name harvesting, yeah. Well, they advertise for employees, right? Wonder if we can find a sign-up sheet for that. Let's see. Let's see. Contact us. What does it say in contact us? Well, it gives their address and everything. Okay. As a customer, the best way to get in touch with us is through filling out the request quote form, which is with as much detail as possible on your request. Let's look at the request quote form. First name, last name. Okay, how we can help. Please include in as much detail as possible. Details might include some of the following information on your organization. Why you're reaching out to us, what services you're interested in, your objectives, the dates, the times of the event or campaign, the locations for the event, the budget, the approximate budget. All information we receive will be kept confidential. Let's see. If you're not comfortable including every detail, please, at minimum, let us know what types of services you're interested in: protest rallies, corporate PR stunts. Please note that we generally do not take customers with an event or campaign budget under $20,000. Given the extensive work we need to make our events, demonstrations, and campaigns come to life, we do not typically take on new clients with event or campaign budgets under $20,000, particularly for any work involving demonstrations. If your budget is under $20,000, please provide details why we should consider your project. For example, if it is a non-controversial project, a philanthropic endeavor, or a project requiring only advisory services from Crowds on Demand. So you can have 1 million plus down to 20,000. And here specified, you have to specify details if you're under 20,000. Okay, and there's the form. I guess you fill in here what your protest or event is going to be, and how much money they get out of you. Certainly interested in the money. I put the link up there, Nina, if you want to come up, or Charles, if you want to come up. Maybe there's a good conversations to listen to, where hopefully here. And what you're talking about, Beefrey, that sounds like an insult. A list of people who will do anything for money. I don't get it from the people's side. From the other side, it's a psych out. Yeah. Could use that to start a new religion, a riot. Yeah. Anything, really. That's what they're advertising. Right? Pay to play. Right? You could type them out. I have $1 million+ dollars. They want at least $1 million, probably. You know, I'm going to start a new religion. Hi, beloved. Can you draw me up a plan? They'll probably use AI to do it too. Probably just something you could use AI to do. Plan me a protest. I bet AI could do it for you too. Hi, Nina.
Hey, how's it going?
Good to see you.
What did I miss? I just got back.
Oh, all kinds of stuff. We've been all over the place. Right now, we're just looking at paid protesters.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Did I see that Trump said something about he's going to investigate Soros over this?
I've heard rumors or people want him to investigate Soros, but I don't know that I haven't heard anything about that.
I saw something, but it's hard to know if it's real or not nowadays.
Yeah, let's check that out. Let's see. So, okay. George Soros Foundation responds to Trump's investigation. He's a long target of conspiracy theories. Let's see what it has to say here. There's the title. We're not afraid, George Soros Foundation on being Trump's next target. Okay. Depends on what the charge is. And we're quite used to these things falling flat on their faces. So the foundation started by billionaire Democratic donor George Soros is responding to a threat of investigation by the U.S. government. President Trump said Thursday that Soros was a likely candidate for prosecution. Though it wasn't clear what the charge would be, Soros, a billionaire financier, makes personal donations to Democrats and also founded the Open Society Foundation, which have donated to causes around the world. In her first interview since OFS became a target, President Banafir, something, no Logi, spoke with NPR's Steve Inskeep. This is not about George Soros, she said. This is about the United States slowly losing its democracy bit by bit. Well, it's not a democracy in ways that we've seen elsewhere in the world. I grew up in Kenya under dictatorship, she added, and it's not a good road to go down. Trump discusses Soros while musing about who he would like to prosecute. Where was I here? um, okay. Trump discusses Soros while musing about who he would like to prosecute as the Justice Department more aggressively pursues investigations into some of his perceived enemies. Oh, okay. Trump administration officials, including Vice President J.D. Vance and the White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller, have talked of a crackdown on liberal groups after the murder of the conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Nice how they're linking that all together for you, right? They're doing all your thinking for you, accusing them of fomenting violence. I see. So we just can't stick to the facts there. Okay. The OFS insists its activities are peaceful and legal, but it is unclear that this would matter. Last week, the government procured an indictment of former FBI Director James Comey, despite questions about the strength of the case from the top federal prosecutor in Northern Virginia, amongst others. Trump installed his personal lawyer as an interim U.S. attorney to have Comey prosecuted, but that went nowhere, on charges of lying to Congress. Okay. Yeah, okay. So you're telling us a bunch of shit that doesn't matter. Why are you telling us this? Okay, so this is all mostly propaganda. So they're not going to tell us anything, unfortunately.
Of course.
That's just all crap. Hey, Smiler, good to see you.
Beloved Abstract is wondering why there's numbers behind his name. Well, I don't know what happened exactly, but
yeah, YouTube.
Everybody's default handle shows up now instead of just what we chose.
Yep.
So some of us chose numbers, and some, I guess they must have just added on to it because there was already somebody with that name. That would be my guess. If Steve doesn't have numbers, that's because
well, you can change it. You can change it. I don't know how, but you can.
I'm sure you could to go and, but like say Beloved Abstract. Well, that's a very common sort of name. So I'm sure there's several that have that name. So, but you can probably go in and choose your own numbers behind it. So you can choose like more like your birth date or more personal numbers to you. But if not, they'll just default it with some numbers. Because I think there was some privacy issues or something there's some reason why they did that. Maybe people are mistaken one handle for somebody else and whatever. I don't know, but yeah.
Just giving us more labels, right?
Yeah.
They've got to label everything.
You got to know who you are so that they don't think you're somebody else.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Smiler says George Soros supports 54 groups that are all related to domestic terror. So, yeah. I do have Telegram. I don't use it, though. So, but
I never go on there either.
I don't know if I have it on this computer.
I have a Discord if anybody's interested in Discord.
I don't think, no, I don't. I don't have it here. I just don't use it. I use a lot of email. You can have my email. There we go. Yeah, people can send me stuff via email. Anybody that's here can use it if they want. So
I have that email. I'm gonna have to copy that. I might just send you an email just so I have
think we're already linked up by email.
Is that the email you use? Because I thought it was
Yeah.
Max Vision or something.
No, this is the one I use. This is the one linked to my channel. I tried Discord, Steve. I could not stand being on there at all. It was way too much. I know you can do settings where it doesn't notify you all the time constantly, but then you're out of the loop and you miss important things and that people want to share with you, and then they get upset. I don't do social media. I've never had a Facebook account, really. No, I never had one. X, I just got on X because there were some things I wanted to see on there. So I really don't do social media at all, except for here.
Yeah, I don't really do social media either. However, I do have a Discord. I'll put the link in there. You guys can join up there. Yeah, I mean, it's good to have a place where people can post links and we can discuss things after the show, or that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Mine's not that busy, so I'm able to keep up. I'm not worried about it. And then I got some great moderators in there as well that can also help. So
yeah. I just prefer people emails easy,
It's just that it's just one-on-one then. In Discord, you're posting it for everybody to see.
And, well, you can get into the chat side of the email on Gmail, and it does have group chat.
Oh, okay. I haven't done that.
I think it does. There's an option for video chat in there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I think you can, just like Zoom or that, you can add a bunch of people.
Right. It's probably the way of the future, the way they're going now. I believe Canada is putting through this bill. I don't know if they've signed it already or if it's in the works, but where, how in 2020 where your neighbors were encouraged to snitch on each other.
Yep.
Well, that's going to be law now, so that anybody can snitch on you, and if they do, for whatever reason, they can just turn off your internet, turn off your power.
Well, that's the online, the online bill, yeah.
Yeah.
They want to make it totally anonymous, so you have a totally anonymous accuser.
Right.
And as far as I saw, the bill was written before. They may have changed it, but it went to the point of saying that if it has the possibility of offending somebody, you can be charged and put in jail. And the person, there's going to be, the problem is if it passes, there's going to be an industry, because you can get paid up to $20,000 for a conviction.
Wow.
So it's going to become an industry.
So people are going to do this for, oh, wow.
Just scraping online for things that could possibly be offensive.
Right. Well, I'll be in the hothouse immediately then. I mean, so I see my internet days, not being that long. I don't think I'll be coming on doing shows.
I don't know what's going to happen if they demand ID from me, or like biometrics or whatever. I don't know. Hi, Kickboxer.
Yeah, well, that's going to be linked up to the digital ID. You have to prove that you're human. That's the thing. Like they could be making a video right now of you and I saying whatever.
Yeah.
On there, and it looks just like it's you and I, but there's no way of proving. You got to be able to prove that no, that was not me, or that you're human, that we are who we say we are, and not just some fake thing. So that's coming. So there'll be biometrics for sure.
Canada as well, there, Kickboxer. Canada wants to ban X as well.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, UK wants to ban X. There was another place as well, right alongside of them. I can't remember which. I saw it in my feed
because they don't want us talking to each other. They don't want us showing links and what's going on. I just saw the France thing yesterday. I had no idea of what's going on in Europe, because they won't show anything on our feeds. So you won't see nothing. But for some reason, I did see something from France, and oh boy.
Yeah.
The prime minister down there, he's in hot water. Holy smokes. I've never seen something like that, since the Middle Ages, I don't think. like literally pitchforking outside his place. You know, yeah, it was bad. Like he's got to flee the country, kind of thing. That's how unpopular he is now.
Yeah, Kickboxer or Smiler, if you want to come up and tell us what's going on in the UK and France. And
Yeah,
we don't get much.
UK is probably the same thing. We don't see anything over here of what's going on down there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I bet you there is more down there as well. So Iran, was it Iran or Iraq? Same thing. The streets are just filled with people. You won't see any of that on the news here.
No.
You know, it looks kind of quiet for us here in North America, but the rest of the world, they're not quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I heard there were things happening in Myanmar, but the latest things I can get on Myanmar are 4 years old. You know?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Huh.
Oh. So.
Wow.
It's because the PF does. Yeah. Well, none of that's one of the things that's in our bill that we were just talking about as well, is that if our MPs find something you say offensive or bothers them or hurts their ego, right, then they can have your internet taken away.
Well, I'm surprised I'm still here then, if that's the case, because I pretty much offend everybody, you know, sooner or later, you know.
Ridiculous.
Huh. Oh, what's that?
I don't know.
Is that a radio going or? Oh, do you have a ham radio, Max?
No, I'm looking into getting. I'll show you what I'm interested in.
Yeah, I'm looking into getting one myself.
I have
ham radio. Oh, my bad for the background noise. I don't know. This fucking studio thing is.
Well, that's you. Okay.
Yeah, it's Cage.
I'm gonna post this up on my Discord.
How you doing, ma'am? How you doing, Mr. Max? Is it good?
That's Nina. This is Cage.
Hi, Cage. I'm posting this up on my Discord.
Yeah, I'm thinking of getting something like one of these for communication if it all goes down. It's a good apparently communication mode. So
ham radio. There you go. Yeah, they got some fairly, not too expensive. But my question is, do they work?
Yeah, that's the thing, right? I think we're going to need a custom antenna, especially if I want to talk to people from like the UK or Ireland or something, right? From over here.
Yeah, you need a long antenna. Short.
And it would have to be outside, right? That's it. I'm in an apartment building, so I don't know how that's going to work.
Go to the roof. And
I can't. I don't have access. I'm in an apartment building, so
you can get access to the roof. I'm sure you can.
I don't think so.
Well, somebody
There's no stairs.
Climb up on your neighbor's house.
There's no stairs in the apartment. That's a fire hazard.
Yeah, there's stairs, but it only goes up to the top floor, but it doesn't go up to the ceiling. I don't know how they get up to the ceiling. It must be.
Have you ever? What do you mean? Like you've never went through? Have you walked up the staircase and looked at?
They must have a different staircase for maintenance, I would think.
Yeah, ours is locked. We have access to the roof, but it's locked.
Yeah, it would be a different door. That's locked. They don't want us up on the roof. Are you kidding me? People.
Why not? I'll show you the
Especially
roof.
with all the retired people here, because all the old men, they always want to try to jump off things.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, there'll be too many jumpers. We got too many tweakers around here and whatever. Yeah, they're not going to give us.
If somebody wanted to jump off a roof, I don't think they need to go to access the actual roof to jump off a balcony.
Oh, they do that too. Yeah,
that's true.
No, like
detailed documentation.
But either way, even if I had access to it, there's no way the landlord would let me put up any antennas or anything like that up there. It's not going to happen.
Well, yeah. Obviously, you're not going to station it, but if you had to make a phone call or a connection or a thing, you could easily.
Well, anyways, that's beyond the point. Meshtastic uses LoRa peer-to-peer long-range radio protocol to form a mesh network by rebroadcasting messages to extend communication reach. Each device can connect with a single phone, enabling messaging off-grid areas. Making it useful for not only messages but also transmissions. Okay, so I see how that works. It's like,
all right, Max, that's it. I'm mailing you. I'm Canada posting you a friggin' a radio so we can contact each other.
Okay.
I'm sure it's
we should all have them so that we can communicate if and when we get taken down.
Yeah,
that's perfect, right?
Yeah. So and it works peer to peer, so you can communicate long distances without having an antenna. You don't need it
Oh, okay.
because it works off of the other devices that are.
So
around it.
is that like kind of like a near NFC, kind of like near field communication or something?
Yeah, and then it just jumps, right? It hops from one device to the next, just like the network does.
That could work, I guess.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, because we have a mesh network we're involved in. This one's just with these devices.
Yeah. So do we need the same brand, or do we need like the same type of?
That's what I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. I don't.
So I'm
think
sure
we
there.
would.
I'm sure is it okay because like there's like for example I have friends and stuff over here, right? And they have like police scanners and shit.
Yeah.
But in order to access like I'm pretty sure they have encrypted radio waves, right? So you need to decrypt it in a specific manner. So I'm saying, are these devices encrypted in a specific way so it only communicates with the same brand? Because I'm pretty sure that'd be lucrative. So how does it work? I'm not exactly sure.
Let's see if they're multi-channel.
Like a police scanner or whatever, they just like you just like hear like the fire department.
Meshtastic devices are multi-channel, supporting up to 8 named channels. Channel 0 being primarily for broadcasts, 1 to 7 for private groups on a single lower radio, allowing public and private communication simultaneously. Though
They seriously call it Meshtastic, Max.
Yeah, they really do. Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting.
Typically use one frequency slot, unless manually configured for multiple slots. They function as a digital organizational layers with encryption, letting devices form public networks or private key secured meshes on the same physical radio.
Max, I have a question for you, quick, if I can ask. You remember as a kid, they had walkie-talkies and shit, and
Oh, yeah.
like
Yeah, they were
you were able to like hack in. You were able to like hack into, or not really, or accidentally bump like food deliveries and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
People using the cell phones,
Yeah.
the phones, and that all of a sudden, like, or you're hearing like them order a pizza. You hear them like ordering like their whatever.
Mm.
But that was like by accident, right? So then how did that work back then?
Yeah, we used to get the cab company a lot.
Oh, the cab company was hilarious.
They had their own broadcast, right? So. Yeah. But yeah, these devices look really good. I think everybody should get one.
I remember the old baby monitors. We used to listen to the neighbors because they also had a baby monitor.
Right.
It was really creepy.
And then you're tapping into the fucking monitor. Remember that bullshit? And man, I'm young, I'm young too. So as like a little kid, like see this shit, like what? Is it really that easy?
Well,
now,
I don't know if it is today, but
you know how easy it is now today, actually? It's way easier now.
Okay. So it says here, primary
it was
channel
like
0.
accidental too. Like it wasn't done purposefully. But yeah.
So it does. It works like ham radio. So you go on channel 0 to broadcast, and you use 1 to 7 for private encryptions. So you can send each other private messages on 1 to 7. That's
okay.
awesome.
Okay, what's beyond 7?
They don't have it unless you add slots.
So you have to add the slot into. So is there like a frequency?
I don't know. I guess there's
bandwidth
some
or
way.
something?
There might be some way to expand it.
No, there must be.
What would you need more than 7 for, though?
Because like you have 8 and 9, 7, 8, 9.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Is that the police and whatever the other channels? Or
No, they're all private. Whatever groups you want, like you can have multiple people on one channel.
Oh,
is it
cool.
technically
Well,
illegal to look into law enforcement's bans and stuff if they're that easily accessible and open? What if I accidentally switch on a fuck? It's like, okay, like like look at a radio, right? And look, you're tuning the radio and you accidentally hit some random news channel or whatever the hell. Is that your fault, or is that because they're not secured? And why is that your fault if you accidentally hit it?
You probably really wouldn't have that now because they're much more better with keeping within the frequencies. Frequency.
I was kind of hoping to, listen on to the police.
Yeah, so you probably.
There's like police scanners. They sell them and shit. And
You'd probably have to buy a chip with that band, and put it in.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah.
No, but like the police allow people to hear a bunch of stuff, like first responders, ambulance, fire,
But
police. But they have it encrypted stuff. Like if they're really doing like a raid or something, then you're not going to be able to get into that like that easily.
Yeah, you would think so, right?
Yeah.
Now
we've got the 1 to 7 slots. It says here that channels share the same LoRa modem settings, but primarily channels names often determines the frequency slot. You must manually set the slot for secondary channels if you want different frequencies.
Okay. So then you have to manually go and do something. Okay.
Yeah.
I get that.
Now I saw there's this thing that you're supposed to register, because they have to know who's on there, so you're not allowed to talk on there or something. You can only listen.
Oh yeah, like okay, so it's not a 2 or 3-way thing where you can listen and talk.
How mesh tactics? Oh, they're not actually. Wow.
I saw a thing where you can get a fine. I can't remember how much the fine was, and up to a year.
Okay, so there's something called it's called DMR P25. But you're not gonna hear gibberish back.
Observability is about real-world impact, where it counts.
So we can innovate.
Max,
faster.
Understand, decide, and get it right.
Right here.
The biggest draw to.
Can I show you something in the background quick? Here, can you please look? Can you read this, please? Seriously, because I'm trying to learn too myself here. We can look into DMR P25 and DES data encryption standard. Right, there's a standard for these things.
Encrypted communication radio waves scramble voice or data into unreadable code using algorithms and keys. So only authorized radios with matching keys can decode signals, preventing eavesdropping on public airwaves. This process secures sensitive information for industries like public safety, military, private security, using standards like AES, Advanced Encryption Standards, or DES, Data Encryption Standards. On digital radios, DMRs, the wave itself is still broadcast, but the data is gibberish without the correct encryption data. Yeah.
So to me, that makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah.
So maybe using a specific device, let's say we have the same brand, and the keys automatically. But all right. Well, I don't know. How does that work exactly? Can we look into that?
Meshtastic is your ability to create an encrypted private channel that you can share among, family, friends, your private group. It's something that gives you private, long-range communications without needing any cell service internet, no infrastructure, no subscription, no license. You just buy the radios and you're good to go. But what does a channel even do? Is it like communicating on a different frequency, or is it something else?
Roger.
What's the difference between the primary channel and the 7 available secondary channels? And how do you hop your encrypted channel messages off of other people's nodes without giving them your channel information? This video is going to be a deep dive into really understanding what Meshtastic channels are all about. So what is a channel? So at a very basic level, you can think of a Meshtastic channel as a group chat room. It's a place where multiple people on the mesh can send and receive text messages. Now, every Meshtastic radio will ship with a default public channel. That way you can get started communicating with your local mesh right away. Now, all channels on Meshtastic are encrypted with a pre-shared key, or PSK as it's abbreviated. So you can kind of think of it as like a password, but it's important to know that a channel is only as secure as the physical device. If someone gains physical access to one of your nodes that has a channel configured on it, they would be able to decrypt all the messages on that channel moving forward. And the default public channel is technically encrypted, but it's not secure because it's got a publicly known key that
Max,
everybody
can you
has.
pause
Now,
quickly?
not only do channels give you a private place to chat, but they also
So then that means you'd have to go ahead and it's like kind of like this. Like it reminds me of like a brand of a lock.
Mhm.
You ever heard of like a bump key?
Yeah.
So a bump key will, it'll unlock any sort of brand that is related to. So that means you'd have to re-key or like re-password up some sort of communication like that. in order to have it secure. If not, then anybody could just look up the brand and easily get into it. You know what I mean? Like with a good bump key kind of thing. You know, no
Well,
launch
they
thing.
probably give each. I don't know. I think each key would have it. You're working with encryption, right? So hopefully the encryption is good.
Is he using his phone?
Yeah. Well, it's a device.
I was gonna say, it looks like
Provide a centralized way to
And Max, when you have it,
like
this
location,
is what.
Hold
sensor
on. We
data.
got to find out what it is.
Yeah, and when you have a chance after, I'm gonna shut up. But when you have a chance after, I put something in the private chat. That's what popped up for me when I'm looking into something to a deeper level of how this stuff is working. It was just very interesting to me. Thank you.
Yeah, it's got to be. There's got to be people that are against it, people that are for it. We'll see what they say.
Data, device metrics,
saw one
things
guy
like
that was
that. And
saying
so
it
when
was a
you
bad
look
thing
at
or
the channel settings, every person has the ability to decide whether they want to share their position with that channel and what sort of precision they want to share with that channel. And a lot of people will use devices simply as trackers. They won't connect them to their phone. They'll just use it as like a GPS tracking device. So you could take a device like this. This is the Atlevox M1. You can get it with a GPS device installed in it, and you can just turn it on without even connecting it to your cell phone to use it as a tracker. You can just put it in a vehicle or other asset that you want to track, and it will automatically report its location back to the channel. Now,
let's go to YouTube and increase the settings.
Can you? I put something in the private chat if you'd like to look into that. Is
yeah, we can. I'll just watch this first.
Yeah, one thing at a time.
there are a few things you have to set up in order for that to happen automatically, which we'll go over later in the video. But basically, I just want to emphasize channels are not just for texting messages. They are for transmitting sorts of data. Basically, all data over the mesh occurs over channels. Now, you can have up to 8 channels on a radio, and if you think of something like a basic walkie-talkie, you know, they have maybe 10 channels on it, and if someone's on channel 1 and you're on channel 4, if they send a message to you, you're not going to get it, right? You're just not on the same channel. That message is lost forever. Well, it's not like that with Meshtastic. You can actually up to 8 channels asynchronously, so you don't have to like tune in to one channel at a time. So that's a great benefit of Meshtastic. And we'll go a little deeper into how that actually works, because the channels actually don't operate on different frequencies. So we'll go over that later.
Okay,
and the other cool thing is, like with walkie-talkies, you're kind of locked into preset channels that are just publicly known, and you know, whenever you use one, anybody could basically listen to it. With Meshtastic, you have channel slots that you can configure to be completely custom and completely encrypted however you want. So you get a lot more privacy and flexibility with configuring channels in Meshtastic. Now, you also have the ability to send direct messages from one node to another where no one else can see it. It'll be encrypted automatically.
Max,
but in order to do that, you still need to have a common channel between those two nodes in order for
what is the definition?
node discovery.
What is the definition of a
Just
node?
to recap so far, channels are like...
Okay, well, now we got...
You are unlike us. And so are we.
Oh, perfect.
Chat rooms that are for texting, location sharing, and other telemetry. Channels are encrypted, so only the people with the key can decrypt the messages, but anyone on the mesh can hop your messages and retransmit them for you, as long as you're operating on the same LoRa mesh protocols, which I'm going to go over later in the video. The public channel is encrypted, but since the key is public, it is not considered secure. You can have up to 8 channels operating on a node at one time, and channels are required to facilitate direct messaging. All right, so what are the requirements for 2 radios to be able to operate on the same channel? Now, the most important thing is the radios need to be operating on the same mesh, and 2 radios right next to each other aren't necessarily operating on the same mesh. They need to have the same LoRa settings in order to be considered on the same mesh. Now, LoRa is the radio protocol that Meshtastic is built upon. So there's all sorts of different projects and technologies that use LoRa. The biggest benefit of LoRa is that it's long range but low power. There's a number of different ways that you can configure a LoRa radio. I'm not going to pretend to understand all of the intricacies on, you know, how that works, but basically there's 3 settings inside the Meshtastic interface that interact with the LoRa radio that's like built into your Meshtastic radio. And so the first thing is the region. So all the radios in the local area need to be set to the same region. Now behind the scenes, when you select a region, that's going to select the frequency, the broad frequency range that the radio is going to operate on. The next thing is the data rate settings, or the LoRa modem settings. So Meshtastic has compiled some presets, like you may have heard of long fast. That's the default modem setting that most Meshtastic radios that I've heard of will ship with. And so there's a trade-off between range and reliability and speed, depending on which modem setting that you pick. And so long fast is by far the most common one that people will be using. So if you're looking to be able to connect with and communicate with your local public mesh, then that is definitely the modem setting that you should have. And lastly is the frequency slot. So within the 915 megahertz spectrum, the communication actually happens on a pretty small sliver of frequency, and I'm probably not using the right terminology here, but so remember when we set the region, it determines the frequency range that we're going to be operating the radio on. So with US, it's 902 through 928. Now, where do these numbers come from? So if we go to the FCC allocation tables, we can see those same numbers here. So 902 through 928 megahertz. They call it 915 because that's the center frequency between this range. So whenever someone talks about 915 megahertz, this is what they're talking about. So this range right here is designated for industrial, scientific, and medical applications, abbreviated as ISM. So if you ever heard the term ISM, this is what they're talking about. Now this device right here is a hack RF. It's in the looking glass mode, and we can see I have it tuned in to that frequency range, 902 through 928. And what this does is it's a waterfall visualization of the radio range. So we can see here, this is actually my Meshtastic radio sending out pings in right at that red point is where that transmission is actually occurring. So if I take a marker and bring it down to where those red marks are, we can see that in reality, we're transmitting at 906 point, I think technically it's 875, and the actual bandwidth of that transmission is determined by the preset. Now, if we wanted to, we could operate on a different part of this 915 frequency band just by changing our frequency slot. So, for example, if I change the frequency slot to 70, it's going to save and reboot the node. Now when I send a message here, we can see I'm actually transmitting over here. So you saw that right there, that was probably a different node, but we're getting this hotspot right here. These are the retransmission attempts. I don't have any other radios dialed into this mesh right now, so it's just gonna attempt to retransmit and will eventually fail. So slot 70 is broadcasting up more towards like 920. Now the actual bandwidth of the transmission is determined by the preset that you select. So short turbo, for instance, uses a 500 kilohertz bandwidth, and long fast uses a 250 kilohertz bandwidth. So again, that goes back to the trade-off of speed, reliability, and the amount of data that can be transferred. So there are a number of different frequency slots that you can choose from in order to carve out a little part of the spectrum that you want to operate your radio on. So all of the radios in your area that have these matching LoRa settings are what make up your local mesh. And so that means that a node does not need to have any specific channel information in order to rebroadcast a message. And that's how you're able to have your encrypted messages bounce around on other people's nodes in your area to reach their final destination. Now, the only thing that's required is they need to have rebroadcast enabled in their settings, which is kind of the default setting, and most people just leave it that way just to kind of help out the local mesh. All right, and lastly, let's talk about the differences between the primary channel and the secondary channels. So the primary channel is the only channel that facilitates automatic interval broadcasting of all sorts of data and telemetry. So automatic GPS updates, device metrics. If you have any of the advanced sensor modules like the detection sensor module, the PAX counter module, any sort of environmental sensors that you have on your device that you want to send over the mesh, those all occur on the primary channel slot. Now, you can still manually request the position of a node on a secondary channel, and actually they just recently added a feature to the firmware that will let you disable position altogether on the primary channel. That's and good. Yeah. Enable that automatic position interval update on a secondary channel, but all other automated telemetry will still only occur on the primary channel. Now, when you get a Meshtastic device for the first time, the public channel will be set up in the primary channel slot because that has to be the first channel that is enabled on a device. You can't actually disable the primary channel slot. But what I recommend is setting that primary channel slot as your own private channel that you're either using on your own personal nodes or, you know, with your family, your friends, your group, your kind of personal circle of contacts that you want to be able to communicate with over Meshtastic. And that's why if you purchase a node from Atlavaux, whether it's the solar-powered Atlavaux Beacon or the M1 handheld radio, we will automatically configure a private channel for you and will move the public channel information to a secondary channel slot. So I hope this video gave you a better understanding of the inner workings
I don't think it's a
the
secure
Meshtastic channel system.
device.
It's not actually, they're not actually
But
working on different frequencies.
for communication,
you
when
dial
the grid
in
is
the
down,
frequency with your
could be quite useful. It's probably the next best thing to an actual ham radio.
Yeah. This seems too legit. The government can probably scan in on that one.
It could be my window, guys.
Your window?
Yeah, they're complaining about noise in the background.
I don't hear any music. I don't know what they're talking about.
I do have a video playing on my headphones. That could be they're that sensitive. I don't know.
Well, yeah, if you hear that, you're going to have dog ears.
Let's see. See if I shut that down, if it goes away. Where is that?
Sounds quiet to me.
Yeah. I don't know. Oh, there it is. Okay. I don't know. It's just light piano music. Now, the video sent me to their cage. It's like an hour long. Oh, he took off. It's like an hour long. I can't watch that.
Oh.
I'll have to look through it.
Well, yeah, I think it's a good idea for people to start looking into ham radios because you can see the writing on the wall.
Welcome back to the underground.
Yeah, looking into some type of communication. This opens, you know, the channel 0 there is an open band, so it would operate much like a ham radio. I guess it's just texting though, but you know.
But you have to register with some program or
something? I don't think so. No, it's an open system, right? Like that band of frequencies is allowable for the public. So.
So it'll be the first place they're going to start listening then to our conversations.
Well, yeah, all conversations
That's-
are going to be listened to no matter what.
Right. How did they do it in the war times? Because I know that's what they were doing. They had some sort of radio communication.
Well, a lot of that was intercepted. You had to use code, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, this is like an hour long. Let's see, programming encrypted radios, the basics. Cool. I'll have to give that a go over. But, we're almost.
You can scan through it quick, maybe. I don't know.
I'll take a couple of minutes. Listen.
Ground. So maybe you've been playing around with radio for a little while. Maybe you have a decent, little cheap Chinese radio that you use a little bit every now and then, like a Baofeng or something, or maybe one of these Quanshangs, the latest and greatest from the Orient. But after a while, you may realize that you need to up your game a little bit. Maybe you've realized that analog, unencrypted communications are just not for you, and you want to pursue the route of more commercial radio. Well, since most of the people who are contributing to the world of radio in terms of knowledge and sharing information, since most of these people tend to be amateur radio operators, radio hams, there tends to not be a whole lot of information on the internet regarding encryption, because as we all know, encryption is probably the most forbidden topic when it comes to ham radio. Even asking about encryption, even just asking an innocent question about encryption on a ham radio forum or a board or something like that might get you insta-banned just right out of the gate. So, as we all know, hams don't really like encryption. However, that doesn't mean encryption is illegal. It does not mean that it's immoral. It doesn't mean that it's bad in any way. As a matter of fact, there is an entire community built around using encryption. How do you think businesses use encryption? How do you think a lot of agencies use encryption? Well, they use encryption through a different series of licenses, one of which is LMR, Land Mobile Radio. Now, this gets a little bit into the weeds, so I'm not going to talk about it right now, but just know that there's a lot of potential for using encrypted radios. Otherwise, they wouldn't be making these, right? So today let's talk about one particular setup that I personally like to use. It seems to work really, really well, and it's at a great price point. In fact, it's at the point to where if you're going to spend your hard-earned money on something like this, one of the latest and greatest Baofangs, plus all the doodads that have to go with it, by the time you've spent all of that money, you could have just bought one of these. So which radio are we talking about? Well, we're going to start with the good old standby. This is the TYT UV390 Plus.
I like it.
This radio, in some form or fashion, has been out for many years, but this is the latest iteration of it. And this one has two main features that we really want. First of all, it is a commercial radio that's sort of marketed to hams, and you will see why this matters when we get into the programming software. A lot of people get super frustrated with digital radio because they buy themselves a handy-dandy analog radio and they download Chirp or some other programming software, and they don't realize that digital radio is a lot more complicated. But today, we're going to break it down very simply. Either way, we're going to start with the TYT UV390 Plus. Make sure it is the Plus variant. Then the regular standard variant does not have AES
cool. It's got lots of different
encryption.
Can we go through
it just
different
has,
options?
I think, RC4 or some other lower level of encryption. But this one right here will get you a long way. And it's more water resistant. It's IP67 rated to be waterproof when you have the door on the side here to cover up the buttons, whereas the Anytone 878 series, well, let's just say it's a fantastic radio, but it's way more expensive. It's almost twice as expensive, and there is no way on earth this thing is going to survive in any kind of inclement weather. So, again, this is the radio that I keep coming back to. It's a good one, so let's move forward with it. And let's start with what you get in the box, because that's super, super important. Like I mentioned, if you were to buy something like a standard ham radio that is meant for ham radio operators, cheap Chinese radios, there's nothing wrong with them. However, price-wise, this is what, $60-something, $80-something for the newest variant if you want it.
Get both.
Then you have to spend $20 on a programming cable, and you probably will have to spend, $20 or $30 more on an antenna. Well, now you're in the realm of buying one of these, and this is exactly how the UV390 comes in the box. Now, don't freak out when you get it, because I ordered this straight from Amazon just to see what the experience everyone else is going to get. This is exactly how it came. And it says right here on the side, I'm not sure if you guys can see that or not, but it doesn't say plus, it just says UV390. So, you know, not super reassuring right there right off the start, but this is in fact the plus model, and you can tell once we get into it. The reason that this radio has kind of taken the world by storm is because everything you need is in here. You don't need to buy anything else. So let's go right through it.
That's good.
So opening up the box, you of course get the manuals and documentation. You get the transceiver itself. And in the bottom, you get the programming cable. Now this is super important. Whatever you do, do not throw this away. You need this desperately. You can't do any of this without this programming cable. You get the charging dock, you get the battery here, which we'll go ahead and throw in. And you get a few other accessories. Interestingly enough, you actually get 2 antennas in the box. A sort of larger whip antenna like this one that you might have to buy, and I throw these on an SWR meter anyway just to make sure they're actually okay to use before I use them, but everyone that I've tested from TYT has always been pretty good. The other one is your standard rubber ducky antenna, so there you go. You're pretty much ready to rock right out of the box. Now the reason that I said keep this cable is because this radio is a little bit special. When you buy an analog radio like this, a Baofeng, a Quansheng, some other cheap Chinese radio, again, they're perfectly fine to use if that's what you need, but they use a special cable. So what you have to do is you have to hop on the internet and buy yourself, let's see if I can show you here, a Baofeng specific cable. Now, the reason that you need a Baofeng specific cable is because these radios are made, well, I guess you could say they're kind of missing a few parts, so to speak. This cable here for Baofeng has a computer chip inside. You can't see it, but there's a computer chip inside here that allows your computer to talk to this radio. The UV390 does not need such, because that chip that's in the cable is not in the cable. It's actually already in the radio. So, really, a few years ago, people were getting scammed on places like eBay or Amazon because they were buying cables that were just dumb. They were just a simple Kenwood-style connector cable, and they were trying to use them with their Baofengs, and they were figuring out it wasn't working because you needed to buy the special cable with the special computer chip in here that allows your computer to talk to the radio. Ironically, the more expensive radio needs the cheaper cable, so make sure you keep that because that's going to come with it. Again, every one of these that I've bought also comes with one of these little mini CDs. I didn't even know they were still doing these anymore, but it comes with a little mini CD for the driver software to make this cable and radio work. You don't necessarily need to keep this because you can download it, the most recent version, from the internet. So let's go ahead and jump to that. Now, the place that I prefer to get software for these, you're going to need 2 things, maybe. You will definitely need the CPS, or Customer Programming Software. This is the software, if you're familiar with programming some of these other radios, it's like Chirp, but it's for...
Everyone says lemon water first thing in the morning is healthy. It's often true, unless there's a hidden reason. In that case...
these. So, I like to go to buy2wayradios.com, find the radio for sale. You can buy it from these guys if you want. They're not a sponsor or anything, but they do have documentation and downloads. So you can download the zip file that has the CPS software in it for whichever radio you get. Also listed there is the USB cable driver if you need it. You should not need it. If you're running on Windows, you should not need it, but you might. So get them both while they're there. Keep them stored away. You never know. Once you have downloaded, unzipped, and installed the driver, if you so choose, just double-click on it. It's fairly simple, very easy to do. Same thing with the CPS. Double-click the exe file. There you go. You will get this. This is the daunting part. This is the scary screen that a lot of people tend to get overwhelmed with, but fear not, we're going to take this one step at a time and show the easiest, most simple way to set all of this up. Now, before we get sucked into the computer here, let's talk about a couple things you're going to need to do with your radio. So the first thing that you're going to need to do is open and take the side door off here. It's just a simple thumb screw. You may need a screwdriver to open it for the first time, but that's going to expose the ports where you're going to plug in your cable. The other thing that you're going to need to do is unlock your radio. And this comes into that sort of weird cultural thing where you may have a lot of questions, but nobody's going to give you a straight answer. So let me clarify something a little bit. Many of you may know that when you buy really any radio from China, it's locked down. They do this to get around the FCC or to make cooperation with the FCC a little easier. And what they do is they make it so that when you turn your radio on, you're not able to change any of the frequencies. You're only locked to a certain frequency. In this case, this radio is seriously locked down. Every version that I've got from this, you can't change any of the frequencies from the panel here. You actually have to unlock it. Normally, like your bow things, they're going to be locked to a certain range of frequencies. But with every little radio, even Japanese,
Oh, you turned it off. Okay, good. My YouTube just muted itself. Oh, and I can't hear you.
Shoot, that's me. Sorry.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
Sorry.
I'm losing my mind here.
Yeah, I was saying there's a link to the rest of this in the chat, in private chat, and in the YouTube chat.
Yeah, okay.
So I would watch the rest of it. I'm going to. And yeah, I'd like to get, it seems like even if we get different systems, we would still be able to communicate. But watch the video and we'll see what comes of it. And we'll have to discuss this again because it's pretty interesting. And I've been looking into it recently as, you know, a backup in case all the communication goes down. You know, I don't consider it to be secure in any way. You know, I'm sure it's able to be listened in on, you know, but that's not the point of it. The point is that you still have communication, for me anyway. So it does that. It performs that function as far as I know, unless they just block all the frequencies. But anyways, that's a maybe thing. You don't know that would happen. But yeah, you've been following this guy for a while. Right on. Yeah. Yeah, I got to get one. They don't seem that expensive, maybe 60 to $100. So that's pretty decent. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Well, thank you for coming up, Nina. Appreciate you coming. Cage Reality, all you in chat, thank you for your participation. And until next time, keep your third eye open.